Good morning. Here is the news at 10. First, the highlights. Governor Sanwo-Olu receives new Lagos Assembly Speaker. Principal officers pledges harmonious relationship with legislature. Labour Housing Ministries urge National Assembly to raise 2025 budget allocations. On the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump pardons nearly 1,600 Capitol riot defendants, orders U.S. to leave World Health Organization. And in sport, tennis world number 3, Coco Gauff's 9-match winning streak ends in Australian Open quarterfinals. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has received the new Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mojisola Miranda, and new principal officers of the House. The Speaker and the principal officers were received by Governor Sanwo-Olu and his deputy, Obafemi Hamzat, during a courtesy visit shortly before the commencement of the weekly State Executive Council meeting at Lagos House, Ikeja. Governor Sanwo-Olu led the Speaker and her delegation to the Council chamber, where the Speaker and the State Executive Council members pledged to continue a harmonious work relationship between the two arms of government in the state. Governor Sanwo-Olu congratulated Miranda on her election as the new Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. He said the emergence of 44-year-old Miranda as the first female Speaker of the Lagos House of Assembly is well-deserving and commendable. Governor Sanwo-Olu sought continuous support from the legislative arm of government for speedy consideration and passage of bills that would see to the implementation of the numerous programs of his administration and delivering the dividends of democracy to millions of Lagos residents. Lagos State generated over $71.6 million in revenue across tourism, hospitality, and entertainment sectors during the December 2024 season. Special Advisor to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Tourism, Arts and Culture, Idris Aregbe, stated this during the review of the Lagos State dated December 2024-2025 report with officials of Tantakam experimental projects and other stakeholders. Aregbe, who also commended the report released recently by the MO Africa Consulting on the impressive millions of dollars revenues generated from the dated December, said tourism remains a vital driver of economic growth and cultural preservation for Lagos State, with the ember season playing a key role. He records that during the season tagged dated December, hotels alone accounted for over $44 million, while short-let apartments contributed over $13 million, underscoring Lagos' immense economic potential as a destination city. According to Aregbe, beyond the economic benefits, December in Lagos has become a platform to celebrate Nigerian arts, culture, and music on a global stage, thereby fostering community spirit, strengthening ties with the diaspora, and reinforcing Lagos as a destination of choice for cultural tourism. The Lagos State government says it will demand the mandatory provision of CCTV cameras and in buildings of 6 floors and above as a prerequisite for the issuance of planning permits. Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Oluyinka Olumide, who made this known, said the initiative will also cover all commercial buildings in Lagos State, which would equally be mandated to provide CCTV cameras as a requirement for their approvals. Olumide said Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu approved the initiative to bring about enhanced security and balance public safety with physical planning considerations within the state. He said to ensure consistency, the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority, LASPA, would establish standardized specifications for CCTV camera systems and direct regular maintenance and inspection schedules to ensure camera functionality. Olumide said the agency will also mandate property owners to always make the footage available to the state security agents on request. He enjoined all stakeholders to support the initiative, which is in tandem with the smart city ideals and the Themes Plus agenda of the Lagos State government, geared towards achieving a livable, organized and sustainable Lagos. Telephone subscribers in Nigeria will pay more for data and airtime as the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) approved a 50% tariff increase for telecoms operators in the country. NCC spokesman Ruben Moka, in a statement, says the price adjustment, though lower than the over 100% requested by some network operators, was arrived at, taking into account ongoing industry reforms that will positively influence sustainability. Moka says the increase is pursuant to Section 108 of the Nigerian Communications Act 2003 to regulate and approve tariff rates and charges by telecommunications operators. He added that the NCC recognizes the financial pressure faced by Nigerian households and businesses and remains emphatic to the impact of tariff adjustments. Now to the rest of the stories. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Dingyadi, and his Housing and Urban Development counterpart, Ahmed Dangiwa, have appealed to the National Assembly for increased budget allocations to deliver on their ministry's mandate. The Labour Minister, Dingyadi, called for more budgetary allocation for 2025 to enable the ministry to scale up the performance of key areas of its mandate. Dingyadi noted that the fund would be particularly used to renovate, reconstruct and re-equip the skills development centers under the ministry and its agencies across the country aimed at generating employment. He noted that the total budgetary allocation of 46 billion naira for the ministry and its parastatals this year would not be sufficient to attain set objectives. On his part, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, urged the Senate Committee on Housing to allocate more funding to the ministry to execute 7 critical programs of the housing sector. He named the projects to include the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates Housing Program, Slum Upgrading and Urban Renewal Program. Both ministers spoke in Abuja at the 2025 Budget Defense meetings with the House Committee and the Senate Committee on Employment, Labour and Productivity. The World Bank has imposed a 30-month debarment on 2 Nigerian companies, Viva Atlantic Limited and Technology House Limited, alongside the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Norman Didam, over alleged corrupt practices. The debarment bars them from participating in World Bank group finance projects and operations. A statement by the Washington-based bank says the sanction follows findings of fraudulent, collusive and corrupt practices connected to the National Social Safety Net Project, NSSNP, in Nigeria. The NSSNP was established to enhance Nigeria's social safety net systems by providing targeted financial transfers to poor and vulnerable households. Meanwhile, the bank says investigations revealed serious breaches of its anti-corruption framework in the 2018 procurement and subsequent contract processes involving the companies and the chief executive officers. Now to foreign news. United States President Donald Trump has granted pardon to nearly 1,600 of his supporters who stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021, in a bid to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Trump, just hours after taking office, also ordered that all pending criminal cases against Capitol riot defendants be dropped. Describing the rioters as hostages, Trump said at a White House signing ceremony that he had granted full pardon to more than 1,500 defendants. A total of 1,583 people were charged in connection with the assault on Congress by Trump supporters seeking to disrupt certification of Democrat Joe Biden's election victory. Trump earlier signed a flurry of executive actions, including starting the process of withdrawing the U.S. from the World Health Organization and declaring a national emergency at the southern border. Now, sport. Tennis world number 3, Coco Gauff, has had her dreams of a maiden Australian Open crown dashed in a 7-5, 6-4 defeat to Spain's 11th seed Paula Badosa on Rod Laver Arena. Gauff said she was disappointed but not completely crushed after a scintillating start to the year came to an abrupt halt in the quarterfinals at Melbourne Park. Her 9-match winning streak to start 2025 was ended in style by Badosa, who dominated after taking a tight first set. The 20-year-old American said she was more mature now after playing in her 9th Grand Slam quarterfinal and would not be beating herself up about the loss like she might have done earlier in her career. Gauff said it was a very different feeling to her last slam defeat, a 4th round 3-setter to Emma Navarro in New York last year. And that ends our news at 10. Just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch your news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration compensated 263 residents affected by a Red Line Rail project right of way? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has received the new Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mojisola Miranda, and new principal officers of the House. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Dingyadi, and his Housing and Urban Development counterpart, Ahmed Dangiwa, have appealed to the National Assembly for increased budget allocations to deliver on their ministry's mandates. We also told you that United States President Donald Trump has granted pardon to nearly 1,600 of his supporters who stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021 in a bid to overturn the results of the 2020 election. And in sport, tennis world number 3, Coco Gauff, had her dreams of a maiden Australian Open crown dashed in a 7-5, 6-4 defeat to Spain's 11th seed Paula Badosa on Rod Laver Arena. For contact of the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That is news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fagbolagun. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.